Hi everyone, back again this week with some more Ableton Live tips and tricks. This week we're going to be continuing our discussion of this LP Synth instrument I've created. So last time I covered some of the building blocks of the LP Synth, the single note dummy clips, single pieces of Midi information are being routed from this into the master instrument. In this video we're going to cover everything to do with chord structures, how these single notes are made to fill more harmonic space. I've done this in a couple ways. Most of them are through the use of Ableton's Chord effect. Now this is in your Midi effects folder, and there's actually a bunch of predetermined chord shapes you can use. I have gone for basic major, minor, triads, and sevenths. I can switch between major, minor easy enough with this LP synth, and I've expanded that by adding a triad function. So with the push of a button on the launch pad, I can turn the triad on and off. So without it on, single note plays. With it on, chord plays. I've followed for minor and major a series of chord progressions that kind of follow with very traditional kind of Western harmonic theory. So all the chords will fit together, sound pretty good. Now I have also included in all of these a seventh group, which I can also turn on with the launchpad. So now these all have corresponding sevenths to add to the triads. So you can hear the seventh chords in there. Now these greatly expand the harmonic range of the LP synth. Instead of just single notes, I can choose to play entire chords, seventh chords, and it greatly expands. The other part of this that I've built in that greatly expands the harmonic range is the use of different chord structures, chord inversions to be specific. So chord inversions are when the bottom note in a chord is not the root note. So in a C major chord, C would obviously be the bottom note in a closed position, whereas let's say in a C major, E might be the bottom note. So even though the notes are the same, the way the chord sounds will be different. Now the way I've done this is on each of the individual dummy tracks, the dummy clips, there is a velocity instrument. Again, this is found in Midi effects in your live devices. Now the on-off switches for all these are mapped to a button on the launch pad, and what this does is randomize the output velocity slightly of each of these notes. Now by default, all of these notes have a velocity of 100. So with this enabled, it will change this 100 velocity to kind of a random figure around that as it gets sent to the instrument. Now, as you can see here, I've got a series of major and minor, closed first inversion, second inversion, and open chord structures. Now each of these have different chord instruments through all 8 different buttons on the launch pad. And the way that these are triggered is through the use of velocity zones. Now by default, if it's turned off, everything will always play at 100. With it turned on, the velocity of the notes coming into this instrument varies enough that it will change the zones. So as you can see here, every time I press it, it's a different value. So by having that randomization of the velocity and putting each chord structure type in a discrete velocity zone, every time the velocity is within that zone, this particular chord type will be triggered. Now this adds a great element of randomness, also fills out the chord types, can lead to some interesting voice leading, and just really expands the range of this. Obviously you can turn that off if all you want is some straight chords. You can do that too. So that has been a little bit about chord structures that work in the LP Synth. I hope you enjoyed it. Check back next week and I will have some more for you. All right, thanks.